Today I'm going to set up my new Tapcooler Nanocanner can filling attachment, which hooks up to this Tapcooler system that's a counter pressure system. So it's basically a counter pressure can filler. And I've actually used the first version of this. There's a video you can see up here. This is made by Fermentations, and they just switched up the design so that it is actually easier to use because it's easier to find a spot to put it. So what I really love about this is, I'll show you guys obviously how to put it together, but it's magnetic. So this will go on your refrigerator and you can basically can off your refrigerator. The old system, you kind of had to find a place to clamp the holder onto, which, I mean, if you have like a canning table like I do, it's pretty easy, but you know, everyone's system is different. And like, I mean, I even had to put a block of wood to kind of like sandwich the vise thing on. So I think this is going to be way better and way easier to use and move around. The one thing that I need to upgrade on my system is I need a new Y valve for my like mobile CO2 system, because my dual CO2 system that runs my kegerator and like has an extra attachment, it's kind of stuck where the kegerator is, and the kegerator is pretty short. So I'll show you guys how to use it on there, but I really want to get it set up so that I can just throw it on my garage fridge, because it'll be perfect like eye level, and it's just easier, better on your back. So if you got a garage fridge, this is going to be perfect for it. You can also wall mount it. There's a whole kit for a wall mount as well. So if you've got wall space, which I obviously have like none left, especially that I can get to, you're lucky, I guess, and have more space than I do. So it's very simple to get set up. The main thing is to just make sure that you put it on the right side. So these are just little Allen key bolts, whatever. Let's see. Oh my God, I found this tiniest little Allen key, and it just happens to be the perfect size. That was lucky. I didn't want to bring out the whole shebang for this guy. All right. I should start these by hand. I'm terrible at doing this. By the way, there's links to this system below in the description. Also, the cool thing about the Tapcooler is you can use it for canning as well. There's a whole... canning as well, for bottling as well. There's a whole system that has like a little kind of stopper that fits perfectly into can, so it's a counter pressure bottle filler. You can also just hook it up to your tap, which I actually use this to fill up my growlers now because it's so easy. You can just like pop it in, especially if you don't like, you can do a pressure filled growler. I'm a little lazy for that. I just like the hose, because you can purge it still, and it's really easy. And it just goes bloop into your little tap. I'm doing very good with words today. All right, let's get this all hooked up. Okay, so if you get one of these, the instructions actually, they kind of bamboozled me because I hardly put this silicone seal on it. So the way that this comes is, it comes like this. So this fills bottles and growlers. It's just a silicone kind of like stopper deal, but it says to remove it in the instructions, and I was like, what are they talking about? Do I just like not know because I've had this for so long? Yeah, it's the growler filler. So this is our counter pressure filler, obviously, right? So this you set to the height of your can, and this is a blow off. I just got this one. They just sent it to me. This is where we attach our CO2. This is how you purge it. And this is the filler. So how this works is this will be on the refrigerator. Pretend my hand is a refrigerator, I guess. And I have it upside down, of course. And it just slides in there, sits in, and then can goes in. You turn it to lock it in, and you can counter pressure fill. Okay, so I'll show you actually on a refrigerator. I'll show you guys where I actually want to have it. Okay, so this is like my dream scenario for this setup. Look how strong that is. Yeah, so like, I have an example can around. Okay, here's my example can. So what I'm gonna do is basically, it's just easier to show you guys when I can actually move around and I'm not like kneeling. So I'll fill with one, but it's gonna be on the kegerator, so it'll be short. So basically what I'm gonna do when I do these is make sure that this is kind of like the height of the can. You can push it in with the can itself, but you know, get it there a little bit. Okay, so just goes in. It twists. You can actually see it in there. And then you'll turn the valve. Well, this will be, actually I gotta flip this. Always make sure your valves are in a like orientation that they will work, because I always find that I'm screwing around and like I'm doing them wrong. So it's like, oh, the valve will hit the refrigerator. So then, you know, it'll start out like this, obviously valve closed. Open the valve after you purge it and foam will come out of here. Ta-da! Okay. So as I was about to set this all up, I actually realized how ridiculous what I was doing was, because if I'm using the beer that's already connected to the kegerator, I can just use my kegerator attachment to my tap with my tap cooler, and then it'll just be magneted onto here. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Just gonna sanitize this real quick. Okay, so this screws on to the top of the tap cooler, and then this just plugs right into the tap. You can also just hook this up to a liquid ball valve. It does the same thing. It's just less hose. All right, so we've got this here. So instead of having a valve on the tap cooler, we're gonna use the actual tap as our valve. Just sanitizing. Shove that right in there. Okay, I'm going to connect my CO2. So now when I press this button, it purges. It's got a good seal on there. It's not leaking at all. I'm always so nervous to get actually started. Okay, so the odds that this will take some adjusting to get it right are pretty high, but once you get it all adjusted and kind of set up, it should be good for the whole canning batch. So, all right, locking it in. Oh, I'm so nervous. Okay, purging. And so I'm just going to loosen my valve a little bit so I can actually get some alcohol in there. So this is all filling from the bottom, and it's pushing the CO2 out of this tube. And you can kind of adjust the flow based on your CO2 pressure and your pressure release valve, the amount that it's open, essentially. It's kind of cool that you can can straight from a keg, like from your tap. I never thought that that would be a thing. All right, so we are cresting the top, just getting rid of some of those bubbles. This beer is coming out so foamy. That doesn't even have anything to do with this. That's just my beer being weird. Okay, you see it slowing down? That means it's filling up. So I can actually see the beer now. All right. And look at that perfect fill. So technically you do want to fill over foam. So I'm just gonna give it a little more, and this is perfect to can over. And I don't think I need to show you guys another canning video because I've got like a billion. I actually am so stoked about this because it's doing something that I didn't even think about it being possible. Get your hand on one of these, or at the very least, one of these Tapcooler counter pressure fillers. They are great, not super expensive, and they make everything so easy just because they plug into your taps. And being able to plug in to your tap and just quickly can a beer, like, I mean, I always have people coming over and they're like, oh, can I get one of those beers? And I'm like, take a growler, leave a growler program, ladies. And yeah, cans are obviously easier because then you don't have to hunt down people for your growlers. If you guys want to get your hands on these, there's descriptions below. These are the great fermentation Tapcooler and Nano canners. And I will see you guys next time.